Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is the PAPAJO show where Papa Joe knows. I am your host, Papa Joe, and I really do appreciate you being part of the show today. It has been an interesting day so far for me. Hopefully, it has been for you as well. It's been a little bit of a crazy one. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late here. I went to go grab coffee and, well, kind of spilled it a little bit, so I had to go clean it up. So, anyways, I digress. Today, we're going to take a look at a few different things taking place. We're going to take a look at the upcoming Fed decision as everyone decides to focus on it. I'm not really trying to focus on it necessarily, but I'm going to, I don't know. I want to put some interesting, I want to point some things out about it. And then we're also going to take a look at is what's turning into a perfect storm, so to speak, around what's going on in the markets as a whole, particularly around the housing market. Now, um, I'm uh, young enough to remember the 2008 crisis, we'll put it that way, and what's going on with that. I think realistically, man, it's going to get really ugly really fast in that space. We're also going to take a look at the dollar and its world dominance as falling, things like that. We're also going to take a look at a couple different pieces around. I want to point some things out that the global elites think that they have control over crypto, and then we're also going to take a look at some adoption pieces taking place in the world. That's going to be towards the end of the show, so stick around. I would really appreciate it. We're also going to take a moment at the end of the show, or towards the end of the show, to one, say hi to everyone in the live chat. So if you're watching live, say hey. Two, that is there for conversation you guys and gals to have while I'm going through stuff. And then at the same time, um, I would love it if y'all threw any questions, comments, concerns, etc. in there, and I will try to address them if I'm able to towards the end of the show. So today, we are going to jump right into content here really fast. But if you like the stuff here on the show, do me a favor if you are new and subscribe to the channel. I would love that. It does help the channel grow. Smashing the likes towards the end of the show, if you like the content, of course, would be helpful and let YouTube know that I am doing some fun, good content. Um, that is up to you guys, though. Do what you want. I do appreciate anything you guys and gals do there. Those of you who are part of my Patreon, I just want to say thank you. There's a good handful of you, and it really does mean a lot to me that you are there. That, as you guys know, those of you who are part of it, is where I take the gloves off. I'll dig into different subjects. Sometimes we'll talk about some of the same stuff here, but I like to get into the nuts and bolts of some of the things that are going on around that. It's where I do interviews, and I love being able to just take the gloves off and talk about subjects that would get this channel pulled down. I've already had to rework the plumbing on that channel a couple times, so part of the reason of having the Patreon is so you're subscribed, and then you can always get back into the content. So, anyhow, check it out. It is worth it, in my opinion. It's not a lot. The reason I did that is I'd rather more people in there than fewer. So, those of you who are part of it, I do appreciate it very, very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's jump into here. Now, we have crypto and the Dow and the regular stock market in general are up right now. Bitcoin is up 2-ish%. You got the NASDAQ, which is up quite a lot, which is interesting, especially since you had, I guess, Google is up 7% today. I had a nice spike after yesterday's thing, Walmart. Interesting how this all works, right? All these different stocks. Oh, yeah, it's down after earnings. Well, guess what happens as soon as the market opens up again? Crazy stuff happening, people. You got gold, you got silver looking like they're being manipulated as usual. You get Divi back up barely above 2 cents. I mean, buying Divi at 2 cents is going to be a big deal. Some of the stuff they have coming down the pipe is going to be massive. Some of the foundations they are building, I haven't seen a project build a foundation like Divi has in a long time. They really know what they're doing, and it's fantastic to see. You got Matic is up a good bit today, which is fantastic. Great day to be up on that one. And then Axie is also up as well. These are residual income bearing assets. I say that you can stake the assets and you can earn more residual income off of them. So why is everything kind of up and holding itself steady right now? This is all ahead of doing the what you would call it, the minutes, whatever, the FOMC, the Federal Reserve coming out and saying, hey, we're going to decide to do whatever. Now, my opinion is that this is a priced in rise. They're trying to rise it up to price it in so that because it's going to fall after they do their minutes, blah, 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 blah. The thing is, though, is that for cryptocurrency in general, you and I all know that we hold the crypto and we are not letting the crypto go. Therefore, anything you see is all paper trading on an exchange. If you want to know what's really taking place, go look at the chain data, the on-chain data. It is extremely important. And yet, all of the talking heads in the world look at this. They'll look at the price of the markets, and whenever they're talking on, say, Coinbase or Coinbase Pro or Binance or FTX or wherever else, okay? I love it that people do that. It's fantastic. This is short-term stuff. Look at the long-term, though. The macroeconomics of cryptocurrency, particularly Bitcoin, is we're not going anywhere except up with it. Reason being is because of the nature of the code of blockchain. Up and to the right, so to speak. Granted, in the short term, it will dip down, but over the long term, it will continue to rise. I don't care if anyone says it's not going to. If there are a lot of pessimistic people out there because they've either lost money or they didn't get it at the right time or they didn't sell it at the right time. They just follow the charts. They try to trade. Yeah, fun stuff. So let's jump over here and try to connect a few dots, shall we? The Fed's hard landing for the economy begins today. The morning brief. They're talking about the minutes on here. The Federal Reserve is trying to land a plane from the high skies of strong economic activity and elevated inflation. Starting today, it is time. Why today? It's interesting today. Why today? They've already raised the rates a few times. Why is today any different? Or maybe it has been time for investors to buckle their seatbelts, stow away their trade tables, and return seats to upright position. Because the answers on whether this swoon becomes a hard or soft landing for the economy are about to start rolling in. Yeah, you know why? August and September is going to be where the lag actually catches up and slams everyone in the face. It's like Wile E. Coyote taking a boulder in a slingshot, releasing it, and it goes out and comes right back and smashes him in the face because it didn't release. Yeah, that's something that we're going to end up seeing when it comes to this market. I don't know if you guys seen that one meme of the lady doing the catapult watermelon thing where she like leans back and then lets it go and it goes out and it smashes her in the face, almost takes her head off her shoulders. Yeah, that's kind of what we're gonna do with the market here. Jerome Powell, our proverbial economic pilot, has already begun descending the plane through rate hikes in March, May, and June. July is going to be interesting. By raising interest rates 75 basis points, another 75.75% basis points today, the Fed will bring rates to a range of 2.25 to 2.5%, or a neutral level estimated to be the point at which any further rate increases would be restrictive to the economy activity. In September, economists expect the Fed to bring rates into this territory. Interesting stuff. Yeah. The Fed has told us that they are unlikely to let up on the brakes until they see a convincing shift in the trajectory of monthly inflation readings. That would signal progress towards the Fed's 2% target. PGIM fixed, whatever that is. Income leading economists wrote, whoever, Ellen Gusk, whatever her name is, whatever. The interest rates are at neutral. Further rate hikes could have a more substantial bite to inflation, which clocked at 9.1% year over year basis in June. I wonder what it is going to be for this month with the GDP as well. It's kind of crazy stuff. The Fed suspects investors will find out just how many more rate hikes do the trick. The central bank's own projections from June estimate the Fed will need to raise rates roughly 3.8% next year to pull off a slowdown in the inflation. Yeah, good luck. Good luck. But Fed watchers are all over the place on this estimate. Deutsche Bank thinks the Fed will be forced to lift rates to 4.1%, and Goldman thinks the Fed will be pushed to rates at 3.5%. What does all this mean? Well, our economy is screwed. Our dollar is screwed. Our dollar, as I've talked about the past couple of days, has gone through um, effectively almost a decoupling. Imagine like a big hot air balloon being the U.S. dollar, and you got sandbags that are kind of keeping the dollar at bay. Those sandbags are all the other global currencies that are tied to the dollar as their reserve currency. Well, let's see. I don't think Russia was part of it before, but I'm pretty sure they still did. Russia's cut a cord. India's cut a cord. Saudi Arabia is talking about cutting a cord. Most of the BRICS nations are starting to talk about cutting a cord because they're going to create their own reserve currency. China, etc. You see where this is going? What happens when that goes? What happens when those sandbags get cut off of the hot air balloon? That hot air balloon goes up and quickly. When that happens, the value of the dollar goes up, but it doesn't really go up. That's just inflation. It's not actually, you can't actually buy more with it. Eventually, to get so high that it will explode. Yeah, we're getting to that point. It's already happened, people. This is not something. The thing about the way this works is that it's slow moving, slow rolling at first, but just like a snowball going downhill, it picks up speed rapidly. Rapidly picks up speed. So the perfect storm in the housing market. U.S. is facing a perfect storm for 2008 like housing crisis. There's economists. I'm saying the same thing. A lot of other people are saying the same thing here. I talk about this because it's the bedrock of our economy. People who don't like that, people don't. I have had people disagree with me. That's not the bedrock of our economy. Blah blah blah. Blah. I'm like, you know what mortgage-backed securities are? You know what CDOs are, or collateralized debt obligations tied to mortgage-backed securities? Yeah, those mortgage-backed securities are basically huge piles of houses and mortgages tied in together as a debt instrument that gets traded on the stock market. Well, and then you have leverage taken out on those because who doesn't pay their mortgages in their mind, right? Who doesn't pay their mortgages? Well, guess what? People don't pay their mortgages when they can't buy food. People don't pay their mortgages when they can't buy fuel to go to work or pay for their phone bill so they can communicate with their friends and family and their jobs. People work from home now. They're gonna pay their internet. They're gonna buy food for their family before they pay their mortgages. They'll let their mortgages get delinquent for a few months, and then when they are really forced to pay for it, then they'll take care of it. That happens across the country, like several million people. Our economy's done. That is a fact. The banks won't touch the mortgage-backed securities anymore. The Federal Reserve actually owns 2 point something trillion of them now. Last I counted, I could be wrong on that. Y'all keep me honest by all means. But realistically, guys and gals, that's not a good thing. Okay. So the U.S. is facing a perfect storm for housing crisis, similar to the 2008 crisis, according to Joe Torres, a senior economist for Interactive Brokers. Torres made a comment during the interview with Insider, and his analysis comes as a concern over the economy and housing market remain a key issue for millions of Americans. Housing prices increased throughout the first half of 2022 as inflation continues to affect nearly every sector of the economy, but the prices could soon crash, Torres warned. He predicted that within the next few years, housing prices could drop up to 25%, and then they will begin to decline in early 2023. They already are declining. Okay, they already are declining. Being in the market, you can see the type or style of house that is going for 8, 9, 10,000, 800, $900,000, $700,000, $600,000. The type of house that's that. Well, those houses that are on the market at those prices, they're sitting and they're having price drops. The net new houses that are similarly qualified, I guess you could say, are listing now in the $400,000 and $500,000 range. So you go from $800,000 to $400,000 and $500,000 range as a new list, and that is a drop. They won't say that's a drop, but that is a drop because you look at the rooms, the land, the style of the home, the updates, et cetera, the features. Um, Equipped house, I'll call it that way. The same equipped houses are listing net new at lower prices. And then they're sitting and then they're doing price drops. No one's buying anymore. All right. I talked about this yesterday, I think, where I'm pretty sure a lot of people took those uh, refinances, those cash out refinances, where they end up owing more on their house, resetting their mortgage to 30 years, 15 years, whatever they reset it to, taking that cash out. And instead of doing improvements on their homes, they're buying boats, RVs, cars, fancy, lavish vacations. That's what I think ended up happening. So fun times for sure. Sorry, I had a adjustment I need to make here on a scheduling thing that just came across. So, anyways, fun times ahead of us, right? Fun times ahead of us. And on top of all of that, the dollar's about to take a turn. The dollar's worthless. No one wants it anymore. This is what happens when you have a fiat currency that's not backed by anything. By the way, do me a favor. Throw out in the chat what you're drinking. This is a nice Papua New Guinea right here. It's actually very, very tasty. Also, go ahead and take a moment before we continue here. Show of hands who's looking for crypto education. Show of hands who's wanting any kind of thing around help with cryptocurrency in general. How to do something, what to do about things. You have a project you're interested in but aren't sure and need a second pair of eyes. Schedule some time with me. It's scrolling on the bottom of the screen for a consultation. AsterBlockchainConsulting.com. It's listed in the description of the video as well. If you would prefer more of a community style of education / access to people who are literally living the crypto life, check out Crypto Confidential. It is an investment. It is a yearly subscription. And it's one of those things where getting into that group, realistically, I'm not kidding, is very, very worth being part of living the life that a lot of people in this space are trying to check out. I have several of you in the chat who are part of that, and I really do appreciate it. There is an event coming up that is private to that group. I highly recommend you check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, back to the fun stuff here, because I got to wrap this up really quickly here. The dollar had a spectacular run, having risen more than 10% against other major currencies since the start of the year. Actually, not a few governments and central banks would prefer the adjective disastrous or spectacular. They would prefer the disastrous rather than spectacular. For developing countries, like from Sri Lanka to Argentina, the greenback's rise has made servicing dollar-denominated debts already a difficult task. See, that's what's happening. When the dollar rises, other countries who are tied to it, they have to pay more dollars. Here we go, people. It's going to get destroyed. From emerging markets to such as Chile that are not heavily settled with debts, it has raised inflation by increasing the local currency equivalent of dollar-denominated food and energy prices. Inflation and the fall in its currency have forced the Bank of Chile to raise its policy interest rates an extraordinary 9 times in the past year, and now to display its reserves in a support of the peso exchange rate. It is getting crazy. For the European Bank, there's been embarrassment of seeing the euro fall to parity as the dollar against the dollar. Yeah, that happened too. For the Bank of Japan, there is the fact that the yen has been the worst performing advanced country currency in the planet this year. While the dollar is strengthened is no mystery. Seeing both high inflation and the strong growth, the Federal Reserve has been raising interest rates faster than other big central banks, drawing capital flows towards the U.S. So they're bringing money home, people bringing money home. Not a good thing. This was frustrating to read. This is not true. Bitcoin prices are rising. Cryptos are in Powell's grip ahead of the Federal decision. They want us to believe that they have control over the crypto market. Please don't listen to this. It's a bunch of baloney. Absolutely a bunch of baloney. It's priced in because they're trading to price in the decision, because when the decision happens, everything's going to drop. And that's it. Whoever clicks the trigger first, get out, happens, whatever. Last little bit here is a lovely bit of information. Rio de Janeiro moves forward with Bitcoin integration. Secretary of Finance and Planning Committee on the city's plans to put a percentage of the treasury into Bitcoin. Brazil has tax breaks for Bitcoin miners. It's a huge, long article. We won't go into it right now. But that is a very big deal. For Brazil to look into making Bitcoin being part of its reserve inside of the treasury is a huge deal. All right, guys and gals, I have to jump to a meeting. I'm going to say hey to everyone real fast, and I'm going to be late to the meeting, but I'm still going to do it. What's going on, Tom? How's it going, dude? BC in the Matrix. What's up, brother? Thanks for jumping in and being part of the show. Carrie, how are you, my dear? It's good to see you being part of the show here. We've got Kim. What's going on? Good to see you being here. I appreciate it very, very much. Daddy's Bar. What's up? What's up? How you doing today? We've got Gloria here. What's going on? Thanks for being part of the show. Johnny Mattis. What is going on? I love it. You guys here every single day. It's fantastic, and it means a lot to me. We've got Bitcoin Bull in here. Hey, y'all, prayers for my underwater neighbors, please. That was bad yesterday. 11 inches of rain in a few hours. I hope there are a few FRNs that didn't go to Ukraine so FEMA can help. Yeah, there's some bad stuff happening out there in the Midwest, guys. Pay attention to them and keep them in your prayers. Got Trinity Man. What is going on? Thanks for being here, bro. It has been a good day. We've got Divvy Daddy in the house. What's up, Divvy, for living the crypto life? Yes, sir. Yeah, Divvy is fun. I need to get some logos for my truck because Divvy is part of the reason the truck's there. I'm kidding. That would be fun, though. Anyways, cool stuff. What is going on here? Who else we got in the house? We got Sai. What's going on, man? Haven't seen you a bit. Thanks for being part of the show for sure. Bitcoin Bull traded Ben's favorite, XRP, for Divvy last week. As Graham Greene's character said, it in Dances with Wolves. Good trade. Yeah, that was a good trade. Very, very good trade. Got Johnny Holder in the house. What's going on? I do appreciate you being part of the show for sure. What's what we got here today? Doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. All right, guys, I got to run. Sorry for the quick jump out of here, but yeah, I am kind of late for a meeting. So tune into today's Patreon show. Should be always fun as it usually is. Listen, thanks for being here. Y'all have a blessed afternoon. See you later. Bye-bye.